And this very video from the accident site, for obvious reasons, the person who's recording this video, and it is slightly shaky, but certainly suggests to what happened there. You see the wreckage of the plane in these pictures, the plane that may have completely disintegrated due to the impact of the crash, and also fire that is still visible in parts, as this could have been a video that may have been captured a little after the crash happened, as you see many of those locals who just rushed to the spot, a lot of them living in the nearby village, who may have quickly rushed here. Now, one thing is clear, that this is an open land, because apart from the area where the crash has happened, the other stretches that remain green, but this particular area where the impact may have been the maximum is where you see that the land is completely burnt. Let me also bring in my colleague Shivani Sharma joining us on the broadcast with further details of what this plane was. Shivani, what more are you picking up from your sources? The pilot unfortunately has not been able to survive this crash, but who all were on board?
Sumeisha, see, it seems to be a service craft and most probably an Indian Air Force craft, but we are still waiting for confirmation from the Indian Air Force on this. And from the wreckage, what we can see and witness, it seems that it was a crash on the field where the pilots must have tried to evade to crash on the areas where people were living. And this was a fighter aircraft. That's what the sources are also indicating. But we'll still be waiting for confirmation, Suesha, on this, because we have to wait for an official word from the Indian Air Force on this. And what the Indian Air Force has been telling us, that they're ascertaining the details, and only then they will be making the news and making the confirmations about this crash that has happened here in Rajasthan. But certainly this seems to be a service aircraft and most probably an Indian Air Force's craft. And what the debris and what the situation on ground seems, that it is quite a severe situation where it can be possible that the pilot was also there, has lost his life. But yes, we are waiting for an official word on this.
Absolutely, Shivani, and I completely understand we are waiting for an official confirmation. But really, to understand what may have happened, if you could also explain to our viewers where the closest airbase was, because we are picking up that it was a Jaguar fighter jet that has crashed in Rajasthan, as per agency reports that have come to light, where the pilot's body was found in the wreckage. So Shivani, I come back to my question. Where is the closest airbase from where this Jaguar may have flown from? And the pilot who was certainly on board, but who else could have been in that craft? How far could this particular area be where the crash has happened? And you're absolutely right, we await further details of whether it was a technical snag or what may have gone wrong. But what more are you picking up on this front?
See, it could be possible. First, we have to identify which aircraft it was, the one which has crashed. Where did it fly from? All this will only be clear. But yes, as we can predict from the vicinity of the place where it has crashed, it seems to be a crash from close to the Rajasthan border, one of the bases that Rajasthan has, which Indian Air Force has along the western border. And most of them are quite active and operational. There could be possibilities that it was in one of those air bases along the western border, Suesha. But still, we have to see that what was the situation, what was the reason for this crash, and the standard operating procedure goes that as soon as a crash happens, the details are first ascertained, and then a court of inquiry is ordered. The court of inquiry then tries to investigate into the reasons of the crash, and only then it can be told why this crash happened. Was this a technical glitch or some other reason? So we have to wait for all that. But yes, the procedure says that as soon as the crash happens, first the details are ascertained, and then the court of inquiry is ordered, and more information can only be divulged once we get an official word from this.
Oh yes, absolutely, Shivani, and we do await that. But so far, agency reports that suggest that it was a Jaguar fighter jet that crashed. Shivani, I quickly want to understand further details, because so far information coming in of how the impact of the crash may have been so strong that it turned into a fireball, and may have led to casualties immediately. Even in the videos that India Today has accessed of how so many of these locals have rushed to the spot, but it may have been a while after the crash and how its impact may have been.
Certainly, Swesha, this usually takes, when these kind of crashes happen, we usually see that the pilots who are on board, they try to evade the places which are crowded on ground to avoid casualties, of course. And here also it seems that the operational sortie which was going on of this fighter air jet, and now it seems that more defense sources are also quoting that they are indicating that it was a Jaguar fighter that has crashed near Churu in Rajasthan. Further details are, of course, being ascertained. But yes, this could be a possibility that there can be a technical glitch or some other reasons why this crash happened. And usually when this happens, the pilots on the fighter jets, they try to keep people safe on ground, and that's why you see the wreckage, the debris on ground, which is on a field which is away from any village out there. As we can see, this is an area which is a rural area in Rajasthan, in Churu, Swesha. So it is very important to understand what was the situation when this crash happened, what was the kind of glitch that took place, or there was some other reason for this particular crash. So we usually wait for details that come from the official sources, why this crash happened, what was the maintenance situation of this particular fighter jet, and in what the situation it was flying. Was this an operational sortie or a trainee sortie? So this all has to be ascertained. But yes, certainly the fighter jet, we've seen a number of crashes in past few years where most of the pilots have tried to evade casualties on ground, and here also it seems that the pilot who was flying this particular Jaguar tried to take this away into a place where people keep safe on ground where the debris fall.